Welcome everybody to this training session. Today what I'd really like to share with you is the importance of setting goals and understanding why you set them, and then give you some ideas about exactly how to set the goals. So the reason that this is so important to me is I have been doing personal growth and following different leaders practically all my life, since I was about 20 or so, and I was introduced to Bob Proctor not that long ago, so in 2011, and I felt really drawn to him and the information that he teaches, and so I jumped straight into his 13-month coaching program. So I invested around $7,000 into that program, and as a result my life completely changed. As it does when you change internally, it results in greater changes in your outside world. So I'm really grateful for all the information that I've learnt from Bob Proctor. I then went on last year and did the course to become a facilitator of a program called Thinking into Results. And the program that I'm going to present to you right now is actually session 1 of our Thinking into Results program, called A Worthy Ideal, because the course really must start with you deciding what you really want. So that's what we're going to cover today. So I hope you enjoy it, and my intention for you is to understand what you want. What I'd love you to get from this is to really think about what you want and to then believe that you can actually have it. So the reason that setting goals is so important is that we are actually goal-seeking mechanisms. That is the way that we're wired. So we need purpose in life. You know, often you'll hear stories of people who retire and they die soon after they retire. And this is often related to the fact that work gave them a reason to get out of bed in the morning, and in the end they lost that reason or that purpose. So it's really important for you to set goals so that you're clear on what it is that you want, and every morning when you wake up you're certain of your purpose for that day. You know that you're going to be able to take action towards that thing that you really want. It's also really important that it is a goal that you want, not what you think somebody else wants for you, not what you think you can achieve, but what you actually want. So that's what we're really going to get into today. There is one quality that one must possess to win, and that's a definiteness of purpose, the knowledge of what one wants, and a burning desire to possess it. So if you haven't been through this exercise before, it's really important for you to sit down and be really, really honest with yourself. You know, sometimes we start out with a goal when we're young and we almost get it beaten out of us. You know, life doesn't go the way we thought it would, and we start to give up on that dream. My son is 9 and he'll be 10 in a few months, and his dream is to be in the West End. He would love a main part in a musical on the West End. And, you know, I encourage him every single day. I am not going to rob that dream for him. If he's willing to do what it takes and he's willing to hold on to that dream, visualize it, imagine it, and work towards it, I will support him all the way. But, you know, so many people are told to have a plan B. You know, don't be so silly, you know, get a real job, all of that sort of thing. And my parents were fabulous. They really encouraged me, you know, to go for my dreams, and, you know, that I could do anything I wanted. But when I look back and I look at the decision that I made about becoming a physiotherapist, which I don't regret at all, I've absolutely loved my career and loved the people I've been able to help. But I know that at the time I was very, very geared towards wanting something that I thought other people would approve of. So it's really quite a liberating experience if you're very honest with yourself and you say, if nobody could judge and there was no limits, what would I really want? So why do we have goals? Well, the obvious answer would be to get things. So, you know, you might set a goal to buy a new car. So you might think, well, the reason that we have goals is so that we can get a new car. Now, that's a side effect of having a goal. That's going to happen if you set that goal and take the action you need to do to get that car. But in fact, the real purpose of a goal is for growth. So the reason that we have goals is so that we can grow. The purpose of us being on this planet, in this life, in my opinion, and in Bob Proctor's opinion, is so that we can become the best version of ourselves. Now that excites me so much more than having a new car. I don't know how it makes you feel, but you know, the idea that I can grow and develop and become a better and better person every day. And what I mean by that is more loving, more kind, more giving, more even-tempered, calmer, you know, all those really positive characteristics that you might notice sometimes in other people and in yourself, but often we can be up and down with it. So what you'll find is if you set a goal, and it's a big goal, as you go towards that goal, you're going to change as a person, because your current results are a reflection of the type of person you are right now. So pat yourself on the back because you have already achieved great things. You are on this webinar today. So pat yourself on the back and be proud of yourself for what you've achieved and all of the results that you have right now. But if you want to change anything about your current results, then you're going to have to change as a person. You essentially are going to become a different person who can create different results. Both in theology and science, there is a saying that everything is energy, and energy cannot be created or destroyed. So what that means is that everything already exists. So if there is something that you want, it already exists in the non-physical realm. So you just haven't worked out how to bring it into the physical realm yet. So obviously you're going to grow and you're going to learn those skills and you're going to learn what steps to take so that you can make that goal come about. Now these types of goals are really important. So A-type goals are ones that you already know how to reach. So Bob Proctor uses the example of somebody coming up to him after one of his seminars and saying, I'd really like to get a Pontiac. So that was his goal. He wanted to get a Pontiac, and there's nothing wrong with that. All right? Don't ever judge your goals, because what one person wants is completely different to what another person wants, and there's a reason for that. We are given desires because we're capable of achieving them. So don't ever think that you can't do something. There's a reason that you want it. For example, I don't want to climb Mount Everest. It doesn't interest me. You know, if I could go off and do all the training and I could do it, you know, I don't want to do it. But there are a reason that people want to do certain things. So Bob said to him, okay, great. What car do you drive now? And he said, a Pontiac. And he said, okay. And when did you buy the Pontiac? And he said, 3 years ago. And was it secondhand or new? And he said, new. Bob said, this is not a goal because you already know how to do that. You've already bought a new Pontiac. All you want to do is buy another new Pontiac. Yes, it's the next model, but you already know how to achieve it. This is not a goal that's going to inspire you. This is not something that's going to get you really excited and scared at the same time. I've known for years that if something scares me a little bit at the same time as exciting me, I'm on the right track. So you really don't want to go for these A-type goals because it's just the same as what you're already doing. A goals are just going to keep you where you are. So once people get this and they start to get a little bit bored with what they're doing and they feel like they've outgrown what they're doing, then they'll naturally progress to B-type goals. Now, a B-type goal is something you think you can reach. So you're like, okay, I'll make a plan, and if this falls into place and then that happens, then I'll be able to do it. So again, you're using your intellectual or reasoning mind to justify this goal. Okay, yep, I haven't achieved it before, but given this, that, and the other, and this plan, yes, I can do it. So this, again, is something that's not exciting. It's not going to inspire you. C goals is where I really want you to set your goals. So they're fantasies. They excite you and they inspire you, and you have no idea how you're going to make them happen. So I'll give you an example of my own. So when I first started the 13-month coaching program at the end of 2011 with Bob Proctor, the first thing he got us to do was understand A, B and C goals. And we were set the task of coming up with our C-type goal, our real fantasy. And at first this was hard because I was so used to just gradually upgrading my goals. You know, I would achieve this and then I'd increase it a bit, you know, and I think that's how a lot of people work. So I had to let go of all of that and think, okay, all right, what's a big goal? What's a big goal? So I was asking Bob about this and he came back to me and he said, well, why don't you get your current monthly income and times it by 5? I was like, okay. And, you know, I was just laughing about it because I thought, well, how am I going to do that? Because straight away I wanted to work it out. I wanted to be in control and I wanted to be able to set out a plan and really, you know, work out the steps of how I was going to do that. So I started to think, oh, I'm going to have to employ more staff in my business and, you know, I'm going to have to get out there and get more clients and all the things that I'd done before. So I really wasn't going fantasy. But I trusted him and I set it. So I wrote down the goal with this monthly income, which was 5 times the monthly income of my income at the time from that particular business. And just 2 weeks later, 2 weeks after I set this goal, I'm down at the school, I bump into a very good friend of mine who I've seen all the time, and I noticed that her skin had changed. I attracted the Jeunesse opportunity into my life so that I could make that goal happen. But I set it without a clue of how I was actually going to make it happen. I had no idea how I was going to create 5 times my income at the time. That amount, that 5 times, that amount that I'd written down equals the minimum amount that you can earn when you're a diamond in Jeunesse. So it gives me goosebumps thinking about it. But this is how it works. Let go of the how, let go of the planning, but set a goal that excites you. Set a goal that makes you feel amazing, something that's really, really important to you. Fantasizing is something that we're born with. So this is a gift that we're given. And when we're children, we are fantasizing all the time. My son, being 9, is always told to concentrate and listen when he's at school because he has a huge imagination. And I don't worry about that feedback from the teachers. I encourage his imagination because I understand that imagination is everything. There are so many inventions like the light bulb, like the Wright brothers, you know. Imagine when they were fantasizing about flying, what people were saying to them. You know, they had no idea at the time how they were ever going to fly, but they just held on to their fantasy of flying, and thank goodness they did. So it's the same with anything. Whatever it is that you want to do, you really need to get back into that fantasy land and relearn how to imagine like you did when you were a child. And, you know, at first for me, I had become so cultured, I guess, or educated, I should say, that I, you know, went through, you know, high school and then university and got into that real study mode. So for me, actually sitting down and letting my mind go and fantasizing and imagining again was a bit of a struggle. So what I had to do to begin with is write. So for me, when I write down exactly how I would love my life to look, as if it's like that already now, that's so important with goals. So not in the future tense, not, you know, I'm looking forward to or I can't wait until. It's very much, you know, I'm so grateful, thank you for right now, as if it's happening to you right now and you already have this life. But I found that through repetitive writing out, and I was taught this by Bob Proctor as well, of exactly how my life is now, as if it's already the way I want, that's what brings up the mini movie, you know, the visual movie in the mind, that fantasizing. So again, you know, Think and Grow Rich is a very famous book. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it, and Bob Proctor's work is based around it. But as Napoleon Hill says, imagination is the most marvelous, miraculous, inconceivably powerful force the world has ever known. There is actually energy, as we said, everything is energy. So there is great energy attached to what you imagine. So, you know, when you're thinking the worst, you know, for example, let's say your dog is missing and you start to imagine that your dog has been hit by a car. That has power attached to it. That has energy attached to it, and that's negative energy. So what you want to do is spend the majority of your downtime when you're not focused on something else, imagining exactly what you want and feeling the emotions that are attached to that. So let's say you could fast forward in time 5 years from now and you're living your perfect life. So just sit there, take a very deep breath in, let the breath out, feel yourself in your body, and just go there. Just see yourself. You're looking through your own eyes. So you're seeing the world around you. You might be seeing your family. You might be seeing the beach. You might be seeing some aspect of your house or your holiday house or some other country that you've always wanted to go to. Perhaps you're near the Eiffel Tower. You know, you're laughing, you're feeling relaxed, calm, happy. You know that you're living the life of your dreams. Whatever it is, get into that space and feel it. That has powerful energy attached to you. And it's so important for us to take our goals from the conscious mind into the subconscious mind. And our subconscious mind is our emotional mind. So your goals must elicit an emotion, and it must be a positive emotion that you love. Now, we are all creative. You may have heard this idea of left brain, right brain, and I really got put into a box actually when I was going to high school, and because I did really well in maths and science and it was just natural for me to understand numbers and, you know, I really enjoyed it. I have been called a geek just recently. Even if you are clever at maths and science and you're very practical in nature, we are all creative. Okay, we are created and we create our lives. So don't ever think that you're not creative. Sometimes it's really obvious that people are creative because, you know, they can cook a beautiful meal or they can paint a beautiful painting or they can, you know, design a room and set things up so it looks beautiful or throw clothes together, you know, all of that sort of thing. That's often referred to as creative this day and age. But in fact, every single one of us is creative because that is our pure nature. So the majority of time, whatever we're spending our time thinking and feeling is what we're creating in our lives. So we really want to put aside time on a daily basis to really focus on exactly what we want so that we can use our imagination and be creative and create the life of our dreams. Now, there's one thing to sit around and daydream, and this is the big difference between thinking into results and a lot of books that you'll read and a lot of sort of spiritual teachings where a lot of people sit around, you know, meditating and fantasizing what they want. That is a really positive first step. But obviously there's a lot more to that than to create what you want. So to get it from a fantasy to a theory, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, am I able? Now, there is only one answer to that question. Yes, you are. We are all full of unlimited potential. Both science and theology will tell you that if you can conceive it, you can create it. So you are able. You have all the intelligence in the world to tap into, and you are able to create anything you want, and that's why you desire it in the first place, is because you can do it. So if you really want it, you're absolutely able. But the next question is completely up to you. Am I willing? Now, this is the question that you really want to ask yourself honestly. Am I willing to do what it takes? Why are there only 40 diamonds in Jeunesse in the world in 5 years compared to all of the other distributors? Because they are willing to do what it takes. Why is there generally in the world 5 to 10% of the population who are financially independent and the majority of people are working from week to week? Because they are willing to do what it takes. And all that it takes is consistent action every single day towards your goal. It's belief, It's holding your willpower on thinking what you want instead of thinking what you don't want. Most of us are going between belief and disbelief constantly. One minute we believe we can do it, the next minute we think we can't do it. You can just tip the scales to 51%, where 51% of the time you are focused on what you want and you believe you can do it. And that is going to keep you on track to take those actions that you need to take in this business and anything that you want in life. So it's really making that commitment. Yes, I am willing to do what it takes. Are you willing to make some sacrifices? In my first year in this business, I had to make a choice. I was getting referrals coming into my traditional consulting business where I could go out and charge a very handsome hourly rate for my time, or I could drive and have a coffee with someone and share the Jeunesse story with them and possibly go home empty-handed or make $25. You know, this was a choice. This was a sacrifice that I chose to make. You know, there isn't time for me to do things like watch TV. You know, I am constantly on the phone because it's worth it. This is what I'm doing. I am willing. I want this and I love it. And if you are really going for something that you really desire, you will enjoy what it is that you need to do. But when you start to do it, it will feel uncomfortable because it's not what you've done before. So we have a collection of habits sitting in our subconscious mind, and this is why we behave the way we behave now. If you want to step up and create new behaviors and new habits, then you are going to have to focus on what you want, push through that fear and take that action. And I promise you that it's worth it. So to turn the theory into a fact is a matter of staying focused on your dream, think about your goal every day and take the right action that's going to get you closer and closer to that goal. So what do you want? This is the first question that you need to ask yourself. So really sit down after you've listened to this and write it out. Write out a shopping list, okay? Think of all the things that you would love to have if suddenly someone said to you, I am your genie in a bottle, and you don't just have 3 wishes, you have unlimited wishes. Start writing it all out. Just brainstorm, brainstorm. And you might end up with designer clothes, beautiful jewelry, handbags, shoes, trips, you know, holidays, a great body, fantastic relationships, you know, all sorts of things. But what out of all of those things sums it up or stands out as the most important thing? And that is the thing that you want to put onto your goal card. Now, a goal card is about the size of a business card because you want to keep this on you. You want to have it in your purse or have it in your pocket. You want to touch it often and you want to read it often. So at the top you have your my goal and the date. Now, the date is when this goal is going to come true. Now, this is a guess, okay? We can have anything we want, but the one thing that we're not in control of is when. So if you get to the date that you set initially and you haven't achieved it, you just reset the date. Just let it go, keep the faith, and just reset the date. So place a date there. Let's say, for example, that your goal is to be a diamond in Jeunesse and to earn a minimum of $50,000 per month. So what you might write on this card is my goal, and then you put a date there, let's say January 2020. Let's say you give yourself 5 years to become a diamond, you've just started. And then you write underneath that, I'm so happy and grateful now that I am a diamond in Jeunesse earning a minimum of $50,000 a month each and every month. Now, that is just a dollar amount. But what you've attached to that statement is that mini movie in your mind of what your life looks like now that you have that residual income. Make sure it says residual in there too so that you're not out, you know, busting a gut for it. So you put that comment on that card and that's what you're looking at repetitively, but when you touch the card, when you read the card, you straight away flick back to that little visualization of you living your perfect lifestyle, because that's what it brings you, whatever it is that's important to you. Maybe you wish you could play the piano And, now that you don't have to pay the bills, that's what you're doing. You're playing the piano in concerts or just at home or whatever's important to you. For me, I love teaching this information. Can you tell? So, with the residual income from Jeunesse, I can increase the amount of time I spend teaching people how to get what they want in life. So, whatever is important to you, that's going to be attached. That's going to be the visualization in your imagination that is attached to this one statement that you write on your goal card. And, you can update that. You might write, for example, and again, I'd like you to think big, but if people are totally freaked out by the big goal, some people choose, for example, to write on their, I am so happy and grateful that I know that I am earning $2,000 a month. Now, the reason for that for some people is it covers their mortgage. Okay, and that's as far as they can think. Now, I would encourage you to go bigger, but you will as you grow. So, if it just freaks you out to go bigger, start there, because even that might sound impossible to you, to be able to pay your mortgage through residual income rather than going out to pay your mortgage or pay the school fees or whatever it may be. Set that one, set the target date, and then once you've got there and you've covered that, then you're going to create a new goal card. So goal achievers really make things happen. This is the way you want to live your life as a goal achiever. And what you'll find is that as you think of yourself as a goal achiever, you will attract other goal achievers into your life. And when you think about the Jeunesse business model, that's exactly what your goal is to be a goal achiever and to attract other goal achievers into your life. I absolutely love this saying, and I really recommend that you have it somewhere where you can see it all the time. This is by Steve Bow. God's gift to us is more talent and ability than we'll ever hope to use in our lifetime. Our gift to God is to develop as much of that talent and ability as we can in this lifetime. That's just so exciting. And if you feel like you lack confidence about this, think about the talents you already have and think about what you would love to do if you could spend your time doing it. So set your goal, tell yourself I am able and I'm willing, and then get out there and do it. Now, in terms of specific goal setting around Jeunesse, what I suggest is that the goal card is attached to the big vision, the big dream, the why, the thing that gets you really, really excited. So have that on your goal card. Keep that with you so that you can literally read it 10 times a day, pull it out and touch it, feel it, and go through your little mini movie in your mind every time. And then, of course, you can have on your vision board your short-term goal. If you've just started, if you started yesterday, you're going to have executive right up there in front of you on your vision board so you see it every single day. A picture of you and then 2 little lines coming out with circles for those 2 people coming in to make you executive. If you're executive already, you should have Jade up there on your vision board. If you're Sapphire, you should have Sapphire Elite up there, etc. My screensaver on both of my computer at the moment and my phone is the Ruby pin. It's me wearing the Ruby pin. I am a Ruby. So once I'm Ruby, I will be upgrading all of those pictures and statements to Emerald. So you have your short-term goals everywhere you can see it, but the goal card is the big vision. The thing that you're imagining all the time is that big vision. I know that you can do it, and I am so excited for you and so blessed to be on this journey with you all the way to your dream.